Hi guys, this is Storybook ASMR and it's me, Julia. Today is a little bit different. I am outside of my house in my front yard and you can probably hear some noises. It's pretty windy and there is a road not very close, but maybe you can still hear some street noises, but I don't know, I just thought it would be nice to sit outside. So I hope you enjoy the sounds of nature, of not very busy neighborhood. I will start with this book here. It's called I Captured the Castle by Dottie Smith. Okay, if you can hear another noise, it's probably my cat trying to catch a fly. So I am not sure if you heard of this book before, but I'm sure that you've heard of another book by this author because she wrote The 101 Dalmatians. It's very famous, but she wrote some other books as well, and one of them is I Captured the Castle, which is so good. It's really funny and smart and interesting, and I just really enjoyed reading it, and I did it very fast. It's not a very big book. So it was when she wrote it, it was mostly for adults, but now, well, older teenagers, they also can read this book because it's written from the point of I think 16 years old girl. Dottie Smith was an English writer. She has passed away already, unfortunately. She wrote, as I said, The 101 Dalmatians, and she herself had, at some point, she loved Dalmatians, and at some point she had like 9 of them, 9 Dalmatians, like 9 dogs. Can you imagine? So this book is written from the point of view of a girl. This book is written like it's her diary, and she lives in a castle with her family, but even though they live in the castle, they are very poor because her father was a famous writer at some point, and he was earning a lot of money when she wrote his first book, and he became really famous, but then he couldn't write another one as good as the first one, and they lost all their money. And even though they lived in a castle that he bought before, he was already old and it was getting worse and worse, and they were really poor until they had some people come, and that's the story. Okay, that was my cat. But the rest of the story, of course, you will read it in the book. Okay, let's see. There are some illustrations as well. Let me read a little bit. I write this sitting in the kitchen sink. That is, my feet are in it. The rest of me is on the draining board, which I have bedded with our dog's blanket and the tea cozy. I I can't say that I'm really comfortable, and there is a depressing smell of carbolic soap, but this is the only part of the kitchen where there isn't any daylight left, and I have found that sitting in a place where you have never sat before can be inspiring. I wrote my very best poem while sitting on the henhouse, though even that isn't a very good poem. I have decided my poetry is so bad that I mustn't write any more of it. It's actually funny, it makes you smile, like there's so many moments when you're smiling while reading it. It's a kind book, and there is a romantic story as well, so I highly recommend it. Okay, the other book here is called Aragon. As you can see, it's used very much. I hope to believe that someone loved it a lot. That's why it looks like this. So it's from the second-hand shop, Bookshop, which is really cute, by the way. It's local, and it's very close to my house. It's pretty small, and it's owned by this guy who also sells those books. And it's like packed with books from floor to ceiling, and there are like old carpets on the floor, and there are so many books, and you can just spend like the whole day exploring them. It's really nice, and I was like passing by so many times, and I just finally came in, and I was just lost there. It's really nice. I love those shops. Maybe when I get old and I have more time, I'll be selling second-hand books as well. I will be this old lady sitting and reading books. Okay, so Aragon by Christopher Paolini. So Christopher Paolini wrote this book when he was, the first draft of it, when he was like 15 years old. But it was published, I think, when he was around maybe like 18, 17 years old, by his family's small publishing company. So he wrote several drafts of this book, and when he finished his final draft, he showed it to his parents, and they saw some potential in it, and they published this book, and he spent like a year traveling around US promoting this book, and it became the bestseller. So I think it's a nice, successful story, very inspiring, for new writers, and like it was like practically, so it was like self-published, right? So even though their parents his parents published it, but they had like a small publishing company. It was not like a huge company, right? So it was more like self-publishing. So yeah, and I think this is the first book of the series of 4 books. I think it's called the Inheritance Circle, something like that. I'm so sorry, I don't remember. And it was also made into a movie. Maybe you watched it, I haven't. And also I think this guy, Christopher, I think he drew the cover and illustrations as well, and the maps. There is no fantasy book without a map. Well, probably there is, but it's very important. One boy, one dragon, a world of adventure. When Aragon finds a polished blue stone in the forest, he thinks it is the lucky discovery of a poor farm boy. Perhaps it will buy his family meat for the winter. But when the stone brings a dragon hatchling, Aragon soon realizes that he has stumbled upon a legacy nearly as old as the empire itself. Overnight, his simple life is shattered, and he is thrust into a perilous new world of destiny, magic, and power. Can Aragon take up the mantle of the legendary dragon riders? The fate of the empire may rest in his hands. A portrayal of true affection between boy and dragon. Paulini writes like someone gripped by his own story. Now you can see that this cover was maybe created by someone else, but the original cover, I think, was created by the author himself. And I love fantasy. I read some fantasy books, and I even have videos about some fantasy books that I read before, so you can check it out. Recently I was reading this new adult book. It's a Zodiac Academy series. It's funny because it's not what I usually read, but it's not like classic fantasy, obviously. It's very modern and self-published, and which also makes it a little bit different from what is published, right? But it's nice, especially for girls. I'm not gonna say that many men will enjoy it. I think it's more for girls, but I don't know. So if you're a dreamy girl, and if you like a little bit of spice in books, and if you like new adult fantasy, you definitely should try Zodiac Academy. I think it's quite famous now, quite popular. But I haven't finished this series yet, even though the last book came out. It's not the last, I think it's the second to last, but it came out just recently. So as I said, I read different books. I love classic books. I love children's classic. I love adults classic. I like fantasy classic, but I also like to try something different, because what the heck, I can do whatever I want, right? Okay. The next book is the book which is called Ballet Shoes for Anna, and it's written by Noel Streatfeild. I took this book from the library, but I just thought I can talk about it as well. So Noel Streatfeild is she's I think an English writer, and I've heard of her in the movie, which I really love, that is called You've Got Mail, with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and I love this movie. It's about the books business, actually, bookshops. So Meg Ryan's character, Kathleen Kelly, she owns a little bookshop where she sells children's books. So she's sort of an expert in children's literature. So it's a scene, one of the scenes, she's talking about this writer, Noel Streatfeild, and this writer, she has like several shoes books. It's not like it's a series or something, it just happened that way, that like when you talk about Noel Streatfeild, you know that like the author who wrote the shoes books. I think it's mostly for girls around 8 to 12 of age. Let me read the annotation. For Anna, everything takes second place to her burning desire to dance. Even the earthquake that destroyed her Turkish home has not made her feel differently. Only now she is stuck in a prim suburban household with an uncle who doesn't approve of dancing. What can Anna do? Not only is there no one to give her lessons, but there is no money for them either. And anyway, dancing's forbidden. Will she ever become the ballerina she longs to be? So I like, to read children's books because sometimes you just want some, happy ending and some positive thinking, and like when a child looks differently on this world in comparison to the adults, because as an adult and of course it's written by an adult for a child, but anyway, like you are kind of more gentle to a child to teach them some lessons, right? And I just, even though the plot seems to be quite sad at the beginning, I think there's definitely a happy ending and some positive story about becoming a dancer, about this girl becoming a dancer. So I think just there's so many books about negative things, about problems, and of course especially classic books, they are like they are written to capture the problems of the current generation, and it's okay, it's totally fine, because that's how we learn. It's better to learn through books than make mistakes in your life, right? But I just feel sometimes like reading children's books. I think they're amazing, and I will be happy to recommend those books to my daughter when she becomes 8 or 9, when she will be able to read those books herself. Alright, and the last book for today is this one. It's an old book by Charles Dickens. These are American notes and pictures from Italy. And it's printed by the Oxford University Press. I couldn't find when exactly this copy was printed. I think it's quite old. There you go. I haven't read any books by Charles Dickens. Shame on me. Because I don't know, I just didn't have a chance. I haven't read Oliver Twist or David Copperfield or anything else. So I saw this book and in this local bookshop, and I love Italy, and that's my favorite country, and I love Rome. So when I saw pictures from Italy, and I think these are his memoirs, travel memoirs, I've decided to take this book. I thought maybe it's interesting. And also American notes. There is a chapter about Rome. That's probably gonna be the first chapter I'm gonna read. We entered the Eternal City at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the 30th of January by the Porta del Popolo, and came immediately. It was a dark, muddy day, and there had been heavy rain on the skirts of the carnival. We did not then know that we were only looking at the fag end of the masks. We were driving slowly round and round the piazza until they could find a promising opportunity for falling into the stream of carriages and getting in good time into the thick of the festivity. And coming among them so abruptly, all travel-stained and weary, was not coming very well prepared to enjoy the scene. I just like that it's an old book written by Charles Dickens and about Italy, so that's why I took it, basically. well, that is it. I've got only 4 books here, so I hope you enjoyed this little book talk and me being outside, and I hope these noises were not very, annoying because I love to stay outside, and I'm thinking about making another video outside, maybe this coming Friday. So see you soon and have a good day or night. Bye.